With fewer than 2 weeks until Election Day, Hillary Clinton is leading Donald Trump by just 3 points among likely voters nationwide in a Fox News poll out Wednesday night. Clinton spent Wednesday hitting Trump after he took some time away from the campaign trail to open his new hotel in Washington, D.C. Trump did campaign in North Carolina after the ribbon cutting, but Clinton renewed her charge that Trump is a hypocrite because he used undocumented immigrants to build the hotel.
Donald Trump is taking time off the campaign trail to officially open the hotel. And yesterday here in Florida, he took time out to invite the press to listen to his employees talk about what a great boss he is while he was watching and listening to them. And today, in opening that hotel, I think it's important to note that he once again relied on undocumented workers. The same people he has been insulting and demonizing throughout this campaign. So, like with so much else that Donald Trump says, he says one thing and then he does something different.
However, Trump fired back, questioning Clinton's campaign schedule.
Hillary said Donald Trump took time off the campaign. Can you believe it? Here's a woman goes home and she goes to sleep all the time. Think of it. She's got no energy whatsoever. Everyone's talking about the fact that I'll do 7, 8, 9 stops. I'll make 3 or 4 major speeches. Like, for instance, right after this, we have thousands and thousands of people in North Carolina coming to another one. Last night, 25,000 people. I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Here's a woman, she makes a speech for 15 minutes, she goes home, goes to bed. Honestly, she has less energy than Jeb Bush. I mean it. I mean it.
Philip Bump is a reporter with The Washington Post. Philip, thanks so much for joining us. You know, Trump has always had a different style of campaigning. He does these big rallies. He doesn't make all the little campaign stops along the way. Do you think that it really matters if he takes a little bit of time off? Is it a bad signal to people when you take time off the trail as a presidential candidate?
Well, I think there's 2 things to look at here. The first is that both of the candidates have the same amount of one thing, and that's time left, right? There's 13 days left. Each of them has that much time to make their case to voters.
Good point.
And if you're running for president, you want to use every minute that you have available to you, right? That said, Donald Trump is running as a business guy. He's running as an outsider. All this does is get pressed for. This is another thing he did for his business. So I think on the scale of what he could be taking time away from the trail to do, this really wasn't that bad.
Along those business lines, do you think voters buy that when he does that type of thing?
I mean, that's a whole different thing, right? I mean, if you look at polling, though, polling consistently suggests that people feel as though he'll be better for the economy than will Hillary Clinton, although Hillary Clinton gets better marks on most other measures.
I want to go ahead and look at a Bloomberg politics poll that came out. It's a new poll, and it has Trump 2 points up in Florida. Right. Our CBS News battleground tracker conducted just a few days earlier has Clinton up by 3. Right. What is the state of the race in Florida, which is such an important state, especially at this point in the game?
I mean, it's absolutely critical to Donald Trump. I mean, if on election night they call Florida for Hillary Clinton, it's basically done. That said, 3 points in one poll and 2 points in another poll suggest there's some margin of error stuff, and then it's a close race. You know, I mean, we don't know yet what the electorate's going to look like. We don't know yet who's going to come out and vote. We do have some early voting numbers, which suggest that the Republicans have a slight lead in early voting, but they had that in 2012 as well when Barack Obama won. It's hard to say. It's going to be a close race, but Donald Trump's path after Florida is also very difficult. So even if he wins Florida, it's not a sure thing for him after that.
Well, let's go ahead and look at Utah,
sure, exactly.
which is a state that has not voted Democratic since 1964. Right. You're talking about Lyndon Johnson back then. Mike Pence now campaigning in the state. How is this all playing to Trump's defense there? Like, what is he going to have to do in Utah? You talk about Florida, but there are all these other states that he's really going to have to win.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no question. I mean, this goes to the point of how much easier Hillary Clinton's path is. Right. Utah is not a state that anyone would have expected to be in play. Mitt Romney did great there last time, in part because of his Mormon faith.
Sure.
But Republicans usually do great there. But now there's this independent candidate, Evan McMullin, who, there's a lot of frustration, particularly among the Mormon community, with Donald Trump. McMullin's doing well in Utah. If Donald Trump loses Utah, it doesn't mean he loses overall, but it suggests something has shifted in the country, and it means that he has to make up those electoral votes somewhere else, and he simply doesn't have that many places he can make them up.
Now, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks now, there's another WikiLeaks email that came out, a flap really for Hillary Clinton, and it seems to contradict some things that President Obama had said, in particular about her private server, that he first learned about that through media reports. Specifically, that leading Clinton aide Cheryl Mills wrote, "We need to clean this up."
Right.
What exactly does this exchange reveal? Do voters care about it? How does it play out in the next few days?
All very good questions with very different answers. I think the first thing is it doesn't reveal anything we didn't know. We already knew that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton had exchanged emails on this private server. We knew that there was some question about why he gave that answer at the time. Will voters care about it? If you already like Hillary Clinton, you won't. If you already like Donald Trump, you will. If you're in the middle, you're probably getting overwhelmed with this flood of what is this at WikiLeaks and what's going on with the email and not necessarily parsing it. I doubt many people are making up their minds on it now. What's going to happen over the next couple of weeks? It's hard to say. I mean, as I said, over 10 million people have already voted, a lot of them in Florida, right? Those votes are already in the bank, right? So there is an element to this race that is already over for millions of Americans, and so the effects of anything else moving forward will be slightly smaller.
So there used to be like one big bomb that would come out, maybe the last couple of weeks. Are we kind of over that now with what you're talking about with so many early voters?
Well, I mean,
done?
This time it seems like there's just bombs every day, right? I mean, it's just, it's just slightly different. But yeah, I mean, look at for 2000, right? The weekend before Election Day, there was this news story that came out that George W. Bush had been arrested for drunk driving, right? That's like the quintessential last-minute bomb to shake up an election, and George Bush ended up being the president of the United States, right? A lot of reasons why, but I think that people are sort of inured to these things happening over the course of a campaign, and partisanship is so stark these days that there are a lot of people who are going to vote for Donald Trump no matter what. A lot of people are going to vote for Hillary Clinton no matter what, and that's the base of each of their constituencies.
Oh, it's getting really fun now, isn't it?
It's getting something.
Philip Baum, thank you so much.
You
Appreciate
bet.
you being here.
Sure.